Hey YouTube, there is just over a month left in the GBL season and it is league turnover today, so it is finally back to everything opened, Open Great League, Open Ultra League, Open Match League. So in this video, we're going to go over the Great League teams that I've used, and I got one from Homeslice Henry that he's used that I think are good sort of grinding teams if you're looking to try and make a legend push this season. So just quickly looking at the rankings, I just got my other 3 weeks ago when I did the top teams. I got that rankings right there. And the first 9 are almost the exact same. Feraligatr Shadow was at number 5 before, and Gastrodon was at number 6. And then Azumarill is at 10 here. It was actually ranked lower. And Pangoro was actually ranked 10. So Pangoro is down 1, and then there's Malamar. So basically, like, very, very minor adjustments from earlier in the season. This list should not be surprising. Either bulky Pokemon or hard-hitting Pokemon with super fast moves, or buffed moves like Mud Slap, stuff like that. So bulk. And then actually the only thing that's on this list that actually got nerfed but is still in the top 10 is Shadow Quagsire. And again, you lose on the Aqua Tail, you lose 1. It used to be 4, 4, 4, 4. So 4 Mud Shots, Aqua Tail, 4 Mud Shots, Aqua Tail. It's now 5, 4, 5, 4. So 5 on the first, 4 on the second, 5 on the third. So you lose 1 on the first and third. So you're slower. But other than that, it's still a great Pokemon. So I'm not surprised that it's in the top 10. And I've definitely got on a team. And then you got some other buff Pokemon like Marowak, and Dunsparce has become like not buffed. It's actually nerfed with Rock Slide, but I actually roll out as buff. So it's kind of like offsets as one of the better safe swap in this meta. So those are the rankings. Not surprising. A lot of stuff that we have seen before, which is why when you look at these teams, it makes sense. So let's just start with the 2 Pokemon that are in the top 5 rankings. Then we'll go into Sandslash in a second. Feraligatr, there's not much to talk about Feraligatr. It's on the Glacier side, but it's got Shadow Claw, one of the best fast moves in the game, and Hydro Cannon is one of the best charge moves in the game. And when you only take 5 Shadow Claws to get to a ridiculous over 2 damage per energy Hydro Cannon, with stab, and this one's a shadow, so same type attack bonus. You get just really, really hard hitting, like 100, 120 plus damage Hydro Cannon. So it is just so hard hitting, but a little glassy. So Mandibuzz does a couple things. It covers your grass weakness and adds a bit of bulk. Now, you are double weak to electric. Morpeko is now in this, and Morpeko is going to be on Morpeko or Morpeko? Morpeko, I think some people said. Maybe on more teams. It's not ranked super high. It's like 100 and something. Otherwise, there's not a lot of electric because there's a ton of ground, right? I went over the top rankings. You have Clodsire as the number 1. You have Diggersby up there. You have Marowak up there. Gastrodon's up in the top 5, right? So it's very difficult to use an electric type Pokemon in this meta. So I'm not as worried about the double electric weakness. If you are super worried, you can put in like instead of Sandslash, use like some sort of ground Pokemon on the lead just to like resist that. But then that makes you double weak to grass. So pick your poison. There's not a lot of either in each, honestly. So there's that. Yeah, but Sandslash is, I noticed Powder Snow. The move before that everyone used last season was Shadow Claw, because same damage, same energy generation. So Powder Snow, Shadow Claws is the same for Sandslash, but last year with Annihilate, and there was Medi before that, the Shadow Claw did better. With those 2 gone, and now more like Clodsires, which is ground and more ground Pokemon in general, Powder Snow is now the recommended moveset because you can take care of all those grounds with a super effective Powder Snow. So with so many grounds, yes, you are weak to ground yourself because you're half steel, but it's a nice one there. Not as many fighters, right? One of the Sandslash was always so strong in the previous seasons, but it's like, oh, I'm double weak to fighting, and there's a ton of fighters. Not a lot of fighters in this meta this season, so Sandslash should get a sneaky boost if you have not used it. Already touched on Feraligatr. Clodsire, note that I forget, was this me or someone else used both Stone Edge and Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is the top ranked Clodsire, but honestly, both are good. It just depends what you want. Sludge Bomb is quicker to get to. It gives you same type attack bonus on it. Stone Edge gives you more coverage against like flyers. So, and Poison Sting got buffed, has the Earthquake for steals. It's just a very, very strong, pretty quick charging with Poison Sting, nuke Pokemon with a lot of bulk. So it's pretty good. And Superior, again, there's not a lot of grass in this meta. Some people have tried to go like Jumpluff or Whimsicott, but Superior is still like the top ranked probably grass, maybe like top 3 ranked grass Pokemon, because it is just insanely bulky. You have a fast charging Vine Whip, and anytime you get, not anytime, but a lot of times when you get Hydro Cannon, Frenzy Plant, or Blast Burn on your starter Pokemon, they rise to like sort of meta relevance, and it benefits those who are either extremely spammy, like for Alligator with the Shadow Claw, or those where are decently spammy with Vine Whip, but also in a great amount of bulk with Superior. So in a meta dominated by ground, having one of the best grass type Pokemon is great. Fire, Double Dragon, Ninetales, Goodra, Hakmo. You can use Guzzlord at the back Pokemon. They used Hakmo because if you use Guzzlord, you also open, it's not, so this is like an ABB style team. What you're trying to do with Safe Swap Goodra, try and draw out a Fairy or an Ice type Pokemon, and then beat it with Ninetales, and then Hakmo roams free. You can use other Pokemon. You can use Dragonair. And then you could also use, like I was going to say Guzzlord and Dragonite and stuff, but Guzzlord puts on a Dark, which means that you're also weak to fighting, so it doesn't give you like the true same weaknesses. Although that being said, Hakmo is half fighting, so it gives you an additional flying weakness. So you can use basically any 2 dragons. Goodra is like the main one to use as a safe swap because it has a lot of bulk, that you can take a lot of damage in the mid game there. This one is I was going to say glassy one, but then I saw Clodsire. So the front 2 Pokemon are very glassy. Pangoro and Drifblim are very glassy. Both are kind of unique in this meta at how super strong they are, and at the same time being very vulnerable, in my opinion. Having used both, actually I have not used Pangoro in the Great League, but I've seen it enough and I use it in the Ultra League. So Pangoro got Karate Chop, which is one of the best fast moves in the game. Even better than Counter was. It has a same type attack bonus, Night Slash. Not a great move, but you have a chance to boost. And Close Combat, which is an absolute nuke. So you get to these moves very, very quickly. And even, unless the other Pokemon has like an insane amount of bulk, like if it's a Clodsire stuff, 2 Night Slash won't take out. But any other sort of like other Pokemon, like Feraligatr, probably even Quagsire, stuff like that, like they probably only take 2 Night Slashes. So you can just go kind of spam Night Slashes or just like nuke Close Combat. But, you know, you don't have any move for Fairies. If it's like I was going to say Flyer, you have to throw Night Slash. There's limitations in it. And then just like having to rely on Night Slash is not the best case scenario, but, and it's very glossy. It's very glossy. Drifblim got Astonish buff. And there's probably a lot other ranked higher ghosts in this meta than Drifblim. I really like Drifblim in this meta. It is a bit glassy. Astonish hits hard, but it is slower than Hex is. So Hex was the old move, and it got to the moves in pretty decent. It was more of like a fast energy generating move as opposed to like a hard hitting one. Astonish is more of a hard hitting fast move, so you really put out a lot of damage. So here's the trade-off between the two. Hex, you would get to moves quicker, but you would often have to throw 2 moves to take them out. With Astonish, you have the potential to probably just go Astonish and Shadow Ball and then Astonish out the rest here. So it has really moved down the way you play with this Pokemon. Before you would just like Astonish, Icy Wind the first time, lower their attack, and then try and get to the Shadow Ball. But now you can like just potentially just go Astonish and Shadow Ball to take out your opponent, which gives it a lot more versatility than previous seasons. So again, Pangoro weak to fighting. You have a couple of answers to fighter in the back. You're double weak to ice in the back, but Pangoro will be most ice. Yeah, probably all ice actually. Yeah, so just cover that. Quagsire, Drapion, and Wiggly. So I kind of talked about Quagsire in the lead. I use Aqua Tail Mud Bomb. You can use Stone Edge. But basically there is only one difference in the first and third Aqua Tail. It's still very, Mudshot got nerfed, but it's very, very spammy. But it did, actually, Jamie in the comments wrote, Mudshot didn't get nerfed. It got sort of rebalanced to a certain extent. It's slower energy, but harder hitting. I argue for the most part that is a nerf to most of these Pokemon, because most of these Pokemon who have Mudshot, most were relying on getting to the charge moves. For example, like Swampert. Having a little more damage on Swampert isn't amazing when you still need those Hydros. So losing a Hydro, instead of going 5-4, 5-4 for Hydro, you now go 5-5, 5-5. That is a loss on Swampert, in my opinion. But yes, take it that Mudshot is technically buffed in the damage department, but I think overall it can be counted as a nerf. Drapion is one of the best safe swaps in the meta, is one of the best Pokemon in this meta. It is so spammy with this Poison Sting. 4 to an Aqua Tail, 5 to a Crunch. Poison Sting got buffed. If you get in there as a safe swap and they hesitate even for like a second, you're already at like 3 Poison Stings. Well, I guess that's not true. That's not how it works. But like, you're basically like so close to the move already that any hesitation by your opponent just puts you in a huge advantage, because you actually flip a lot of matchups in like the one shield when you get like 1 or 2 Poison Sting advantage. So it's a great safe swap. And then Wiggly in the back. So this team does have like a Drapion can handle it, but like a grass poison, like a Venusaur on the lead would really cause problems to both Wiggly and Quagsire. So if you want to change it up a bit, you could use I was gonna say Galarian Weezing as your other fairy, but that would leave you open to double ground weakness in the back, which is fine if you want to do that. There are other interesting fairy. Well, it's not a fairy. I keep saying fairy, but it's not fairy. I was gonna say, well, if you want to use a fairy, you can use like Whimsicott, because it's a fairy wind. That's also grass, so you'll cover your grass weakness on Quagsire as well. So an option if you want to switch it up, and then Whimsicott's can be weak to poison, and Quagsire will deal with that, and so will Drapion. So that's an option if you don't want to use a charm user. This one, it was a viewer submitted. I would do it Toxapex lead, Arctipex Dunsparce, because both are weak to fighting. So Toxapex lead, safe swap Dunsparce, try and draw out a fighter, beat it with Toxapex, and then Arctipex in the back, because it is also weak to fighting. It is a balanced team in the fact that like Arctipex will be weak to fighting, Toxapex will deal with that. Toxapex is weak to ground, but I guess you have Avalanche on Arctipex for the ground, right? So they balance each other pretty well. I do not have an Arctipex built up. I do not have many of these Pokemon. I probably have enough rare candies to dump into it though, if I want to build it. It is one of the better dragons in this meta at this point. Kanto Marowak. I really did not think I would like this Pokemon as much as I do. It is very hard hitting with the Mud Slaps and Bone Club. And again, I've been playing since season 1 of GBL. And for those of us who have been playing forever, Bone Club was probably like one of the top 5 worst moves in the game for the longest time. It made like a Marowak had the potential to be so good even back in the day. It was so used, but Bone Club was just like an unusable move. With the buff, it's gotten a lot better. And with Kanto Marowak, you have Mud Slap that's buffed, Bone Club that's buffed, ground typing, so you get same type attack bonus, and this one for case Shadow. So the Mud Slap Bone Club is so good that if you watch my original video on this, I mentioned multiple times that like I'm comfortable almost using the Marowak as a safe swap, because if they have a grass, so be it, you're gonna lose. But even against like water Pokemon like Feraligatr, you could easily just take it to the 2 shield and out Mud Slap and out Bone Club them. It is a very strong Pokemon with that combo. So any sort of neutral situation, you are looking pretty good with that. And Abomasnow is, I think, just attempting to core break. Again, ABB weak to fighting, but not a lot of fighters in this meta right now. And core breaking, right? You have a bunch of the ground types everywhere. So ice and grass is super effective against the ground. You got some flyers and Mandibuzz, and others like Jumpluff that are trying to come out. You got some grass trying to come out to deal with all these. You still have Feraligatr everywhere and Azumarill coming out, so you have grass for that. So it's really a core breaking Pokemon. So definitely test it out. And this one, Homeslice says he ran with this one close to Legends. So go Lurk, Drapion, and Miltank. So already talked about Drapion. Go Lurk fits very similar to what I just talked about on Marowak, except it is even glassier and hits even harder. Like really glassy Pokemon. So you definitely need shields for that. And Miltank, a lot of people are now using Dunsparce. Like I've shown Dunsparce a few times. People are using Licky Licky as your safe swaps. Rollout, Miltank fits the exact same bill. Rollout buffed, Body Slam nerf, but still same type attack bonus on it. And Ice Beam for flyer coverage. So it's you can use Dunsparce, you can use Licky Licky, you can use Miltank. I think all have very, very similar play as the rollout users, normal type rollout users. So that is it. I think this week we will focus on Great League because that is what most people play. I'm sorry, actually, I'm going to do this afternoon instead of just doing top Ultra League teams, which is all the same teams. I'm going to focus on like top non-XL, non-legendary Ultra League teams. Just to keep people like, if you don't have any but you want to play, try these out. So we're going to do that this afternoon. And for those of you who have joined the channel membership, I appreciate it. And for all people, I've just started a Discord because I need a way to talk to like the members. I usually respond to comments here, but for easier interaction, I want to be able to talk to community members in a Discord. So I've got the Discord link in the description. If you want to join the Discord, please join it. And when you're in there, let me know if you are a channel, like a YouTube member, because I have a hidden chat for those people, so we can chat in there about everything. Especially if you're like level 2, I need your friend code to add you in the game. Okay, anyways, that is it. Good luck. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.